In this lesson, we'll learn a technique for creating a squash and stretch head rig in 3ds Max. One really neat feature that's integrated into every bone object in Max is the ability to hold volume as that bone squashes and stretches. Let's take a close look at that. We'll grab the head bone and let's go ahead and move over to our bone tools. We're aware of the fact that we can unfreeze the bone's length. But if we were to go ahead and take a look at the very bottom of our object properties, take a look, we can actually tell Max how that bone should react as it squashes and stretches. So with scale the default, we're not going to get any volume at all. However, if we set this to squash, now let's go ahead and take a look. We'll close out of our bone tools. Let's go ahead and grab the nub and start to translate up and down. Now if you find that there is still no squash or stretch, that simply means that we have to go in and freeze transforms on these bones. So with both selected, I'll just go in, Alt right click and choose freeze transform. We'll most certainly have to do that for the nub because we'll use a custom parameter to lock it down, and we just want to make sure its transforms are set to 0. But now take a look, when we start to translate, you'll see that not only are we able to squash and stretch vertically, but now you can see how the sides kind of protrude out when we squash and taper in as we stretch. So this will look really nice when we skin the character's head to this bone. Alrighty, so now that we've gotten that taken care of, it's now time to create a custom parameter to control this system. So with our head control selected, let's go ahead and head over to our parameter editor. We can go ahead and name this head squash. So that's going to be head underscore squash. Alright, now we don't need a great from and to range at all. I'm going to go ahead and use -20 and +20. From there, we're ready to add the parameter. Alright, let's go ahead and wire into the nub's vertical axis. Now, to be on the safe side, we need to know exactly what axis we're tying down. So is it really the z-axis? Well, let's go ahead and switch our space to parent. Alright, you can see it's actually the x-axis. So that will help. Let's go ahead and grab our head control. We'll right click and choose wire parameters, and that's going to be modified object extra controls, and we'll grab head squash. Let's go ahead and tie that into our nub, and that will now be transform position 0 position x. And it is a direct connection. Let's go ahead and choose connect and test it out. So now when we start to use our new parameter, you can see we have a very convenient way to squash and stretch the head. Here's the exciting part. We can rotate the head however we'd like and squash and stretch in any direction. Very nice. So I'll go ahead and use transform to 0 to bring the head control back, and we'll also go ahead and zero out our head squash. So again, we've learned a cool technique for creating a squash and stretch head rig in 3ds Max. Now in the following lesson, we finish up the course by learning how to approach skinning our character.